According to the USDA in the quarterly hogs and pigs report, all hogs and pigs as of June 1 sit at 75.1 million head. Hi, I'm Susan Littlefield with the American Ag Network. This is a quarterly report that comes out from the USDA. So to break down all the numbers and find out, is it really jiving with what's happening in the country? We're bringing in Joe Kooima. Joe is with Kooima Kooima Varilek out of Sioux Center, Iowa, and one of the local, I like to say, pork marketing experts for us as we look at that 75.1 million head. You break down the numbers. What are you seeing today?
Well, thanks for having me on this afternoon for this. A lot of the numbers here, I kind of break it down. All hogs 100, expected was 100 as well. Breeding was 100, expected 100. Kept for marketing, it was 100, and expected 100 as well. Kind of break it down that a little bit. It seems like they've maybe punted things down the road here a little bit when you look at the year-to-year slaughter comparisons. I know the first quarter, if not going in the second quarter, they were down 4% on the slaughter, and this June compared to last June is going to be kind of that 1.5% to 2% less hogs this year compared to last year. So some of those numbers aren't jiving necessarily. If we look a little bit further with the pig crops, nothing really jumps out there a whole lot. It seems like the pigs per litter just kind of it goes up every single time. But the weight breakdowns, that's where we're going to take a look there a little bit further, reading some of those off. The 180, which is a 99, expected 99. Typically, all those hogs are pretty much to slaughter. The middle or the top other weight there, 120 to 180 was 100 versus 99. The 50 to 120 is 100, expected 100, and the under 50 pounds is 101 compared to the estimate of 100. That one kind of strikes me as a little odd. Talking to producers here that are open market type guys that buy their open market isoines and feeders. They're having a very difficult time really acquiring any kind of numbers, and they're paying a lot for them. Some of the prices this year that we've paid in the last 6 weeks, they're all-time, if not record, if not all-time high for this time of year. The last time we've had this high for open market isoines and feeders is going back all the way to 2014. So the bigger outlook here right now is that it's pretty easy to get pigs in to the packers. Packers are kind of calling around looking for some inventory. So I think we kind of missed this a little bit on this report, just with what we're hearing. This chronic problem with PRRS and PED has been around since the beginning of the year. We had high price isoines back then. Well below a year ago on some voluntary reports of what was coming in, and that's certainly still being kind of reflected right now. And usually this disease situation is kind of, okay, it shows up in the fall, you'll have a little bout in the spring, and then we get over it and production ramps back up. But this one has just been lingering. It's still chronic. I still hear of farrowings kind of blowing up with some PRRS or PED. So it's an ongoing situation that is hard to get this production ramped up back to what we're used to seeing right now. So,
And Joe, too, and Brad and I, who you work with, talked a little bit about this as well. The demand from the consumer as they look at wanting to incorporate more pork, as they look at prices, hearing numbers of not having the isoines has a trickle down effect to that consumer's plate.
yeah, we're seeing a little bit of especially the last 4 or 5 weeks, this cutout has finally just had a huge move to the upside. I think we finally saw, maybe some retail change there a little bit, that we're seeing a little bit uptick in consumer. And this is the time of year where we have it. Typically, we can have some disease issues too, stemming back from 6 months ago, that make it a little bit tighter in this grilling season. So finally seeing a nice uptick with that. But it's good to see that cutout finally chirp here a little bit the last little while, and that demand still looks pretty good here. I know California maybe has a little setback here on some demand issues. Not issues, I shouldn't say that, but maybe it's a little kickback there. But they're kind of used to seeing some higher prices over there too, so it doesn't take much for them to kind of stave off of that just a little bit. But overall demand has finally kicked in here the last 6 weeks.
Well, Joe, we appreciate you joining us today to break down. That is the quarterly Hogs and Pigs report that came out on a Thursday. Joining us again, Joe Kooima with Kooima Kooima Varilek out of Sioux Center, Iowa. I'm Susan Littlefield.